Hi there, I wanted to share a fun activity that is also educational for your young children, and it's really just an experiment of float and sink. So all you need is a hand towel to put down, a little bowl or bin of water, and materials that you want to see if they sink or float, or you want your children to see if they sink or float. Although I promise you're going to want to do it too because it's super fun. So, for example, you could say we're going to go find things out in nature. So pick three things, and the three things I found were a rock, a leaf, and a branch. So you start one at a time. So you would tell your child, find the rock, and they would get the after you bring it inside, or you could do this outside, either way, and put it inside. So you want them to hold it with their pointer finger and thumb because then it becomes a fine motor activity to strengthen these fingers. So when it's time to be writing, their hands are going to be super strong. So you're going to say, pick up the rock with your pointer finger and your thumb and put it inside the water, and let's see what happens. Well, my rock sank. So we could have them do this to represent it sinks, put their hand down, or do this to represent that something floats. And you can look at it and say, right, it sank. It went all the way to the bottom. And then you can have them reach with their pointer finger and thumb to take it out and shake, 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 and put it right here on the hand towel. And then they can dry their hands if they want. And then you can tell them, all right, now find the leaf. Remember, pick it up with your pointer finger and your thumb. I found the leaf. And you could even start expanding on this and saying, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think the leaf is going to float or sink? What's your prediction? And you can start using the word prediction. Even though you have a toddler or preschooler, it's important to expose them to these kinds of concepts. So what do you think? Is it going to float or sink? Let's see. All right, put it in. Do, 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 do. You could even add drum roll and see what happens. Well, my leaf floats. So my hands would go like this. And then remember, you take it out, pointer finger, thumb, and you say, now find the branch. They get the branch. Drum roll, please. What do you think? What's your prediction? Is it going to float or sink? Let's see. It floats. So our hands would go up. So I encourage you to have it where each day you can do an experiment with different things. So for today, we used items in nature. For tomorrow, you could use items in their bedroom or playroom that are okay with you for them to put it in the water, like a Lego or a ball or a magnetile or a little plastic toy or the little foam letters. And then the next day you could say, we're going to look around the house for some office supplies or from things that we use at home, like a paper clip or a rubber band or even a Q-tip or a cotton ball, and use those kinds of things and see which ones sink or float. As a follow-up to this activity, you can get a piece of white paper and have them fold it in half and then open it back up and show them that there's two sides, one, two, and on one side you keep blank, and on the other side, I already started, you can color with blue, and I encourage a crayon or a colored pencil because they have to push harder, which means they've got to strengthen. It strengthens their fine motor skills. If you use marker, that's fine too. It just doesn't allow for an opportunity for them to really have to push hard in order to see the color come out, because markers you barely have to push. So I really encourage you to use a crayon or a blue colored pencil if you have. And then if you can laminate it or put it in a plastic sleeve or even just put packaging tape over it just so that you can reuse it, because paper is going to, get a little ruined, which it's all good. And then after you're all done and you've cleaned up and you have your materials and they've dried off a little bit, so then you wouldn't really have to laminate it, you would say, do you remember, did the rock sink or float? Well, if it sank, then it would go on the blue side. And so they would just put all the things that sank on the side that's blue, because it means it went down to the water, and all the things that floated, like our branch, would go to the other side. And that's just a fun activity for them to do. And when you think you're finished with it, keep doing it, because usually they want to keep experiencing and exploring with the same materials. The more they explore with the same materials, the more predictability they have, and really the more learning is occurring. So have them do the experiment a few times with the same materials, and then you can switch and do different materials or different items. Just have fun. I wish you well.